All right, so we're going to continue using synthetic division here to divide. So kind of help me out here. So if you're not a person who likes long division, synthetic division might be a choice you make. All right, so synthetic division, you want to look at the coefficients here of this first polynomial here. So the coefficients here are 1, -10, -24. And then what goes inside here in the box? You could either think, how do I get 0? Or you can think, oh, this has to be x minus c here. And so to write this out, it'd be x minus a -2. So how do I get 0 inside there when x is -2? If it's in the form of x minus c there, it has to be a -2 as well. So then the first step here, you bring down the first number here straight down. You multiply that number that you just brought down by what's inside the box there, which is -2. You add them over here, which is -12. If you take -12, you multiply what's inside the box there. -12 times -2 there is 24. You add these over here, and you get 0. How do I write our answer? Well, we're going to have to drop down a power. So it's x squared, and when you divide that by x, you get x to the first. So this becomes 1x, or just x, and then minus 12. And there isn't a remainder, so we're good. It's just x minus 12. Let's try another one of these. We got 3a to the fourth minus 6a to the third minus 2a squared plus a minus 6. So again, just walking through the coefficients. 3, -6, -2, 1, -6. What goes inside the box there? I can think, how do I get 0? I get 0 inside there when a is -1. Or I can write it in terms of a minus, and so the -1 goes inside the box. Draw a line, bring down the first number there, which is 3. Multiply by what's inside the box. So 3 times -1 is -3. And now we add what we just wrote down there. -6 plus the -3 is -9. Multiply by what's inside the box. So we get 9. Add those together, we get 7. Multiply by what's inside the box, we get -7. Add, we get -6. Multiply by what's inside the box, we get 6. Add, we get 0. How do we write our answer? Well, we got a to the fourth divided by a. We're going to drop down a power. So it becomes 3a to the third instead of a to the fourth. It's a to the third minus 9a squared, and drop it down a power as I go across, plus 7a minus 6. And since there's not a remainder, I'm golden. So there we have our answer for this one. So that's, hopefully you're now starting to understand a little bit more what synthetic division is and how to divide. Same thing with this one. Even if it's written like this, we can still divide it out. We're going to do exactly the same thing. So look at the coefficient. What's in front of x to the fifth? 1. Then we've got x to the fourth. There isn't any. X to the third, -7. X squared, there isn't one. X is 1, and the constant is 1. You need to put those zeros in there. If you don't put the zeros in there, you're going to get an absolutely wrong answer. All right? What's going to go inside the box? How do I get 0? I get 0 down there when x is -3. Or I can think of writing it like this, x minus a -3. So I've got to be terms of minus. All right, you're going to bring down your first number. Multiply by what's in the box. Add those together. Take -3, multiply by what's inside the box. You get 9. Add them together. Multiply by what's inside the box. Add them together. Multiply by what's inside the box. Add them together. Multiply by what's inside the box. 57? Is that right? Yeah, negative 57. And then add it together, you get negative 56. All right, so how do I write this? It's going to drop down a power. It was x to the fifth divided by x there, gives us x to the fourth. So 1x to the fourth minus 3x to the third, drop it down as I go across, plus 2x squared minus 6x plus 19. What do I do with that remainder? Plus, take your remainder and put it over what you were dividing by in the original case there, which is x plus 3. Right? Do not put that over negative 3. That would be incorrect. So make sure you put over what you're originally dividing there by, which is x plus 3. And really, we're dividing this by x plus 3. We just don't write it out because we can just work with the numbers and get the same answer. So, but you have to write it out correctly. So that is synthetic division, and hopefully that helps those of you who are having a hard time with long division to figure that out. I believe we got another example here left. So let's go over here and look at our another one here. So you got 3c to the fifth, so my coefficient there is 3, and then c to the fourth, c to the third, there isn't one, c to the second, there isn't one, c is 1, and then constant is 5. What goes inside the box? Negative 2. Why? Because I can write in terms of minus, or I can think, how do I get 0? You get 0 there when c is negative 2. All right. Kind of a long one, right? So bring down the first number here, which is 3, multiply by what's inside the box. Add these, multiply by what's inside the box. Add these, multiply by what's inside the box. Add, multiply by what's inside the box. Add, multiply by what's inside the box. Add it together, and we get negative 13. So let's write it out. 3c to the fifth divided by c brings us down to c to the fourth. So 3c to the fourth, drop it down a power, c to the third, dropping down a power, dropping down a power, plus 9. And then I've got my remainder here, so I can say negative 13, all of what I was originally dividing by, which is c plus 2. So there we have our final answer. So I believe this might be our last one here. Let me see. Oh, I got a couple here for you to try out now, so why don't you go ahead and try those out, and then we'll start up the video and finish those out. All right, so looking at these two, you got z squared plus 2z minus 24 divided by z minus 4. So again, look at your coefficients, 1, 2, negative 24, and inside the box here. I gotta think, how do I get 0 inside the box there? I get 0 when z there is 4, or I can think, oh, it's in that way, it's in z minus c, and it has to be c, so it has to be 4. I think it's easier to think, how do I get 0 in there, so then I don't get them mixed up all the time. So how do I get 0 inside there when z is 4? So, because 4 minus 4, that'll give me 0. So over here, just bring the first number down. 1 times 4, there's 4. Add them together, I get 6. 6 times 4 inside the box there is 24. Add together, I get 0. So now I can drop my answer down. It was z the second divided by z, that gives me z the first. Or you can just think, oh yeah, 2 minus 1 is 1, so now it becomes z the first. So it's 1z the first, which is z, and then plus 6. And there isn't a remainder, so my answer is just z plus 6. My other one down here, I've got 5x squared, then x, and my constant. What goes inside the box this time? Again, I like to think, how do I get 0 over here? And I get 0 over there when x is 2. So 2 minus 2 is 0, so I'm going to put a 2 in there. And then I bring down my first number, which is 5. Multiply by what's inside the box. 5 times 2 there is 10. Add together. Multiply by what's inside the box there. I get 14. Add together. I get 18. So now that we have that, we're going to drop down a power, so it becomes not 5x squared, but becomes 5x, and then plus 7, and then plus our remainder over what we're dividing there by, which is x minus 2. So hopefully that helps those of you who are having a hard time with long division to be able to do some of these, but here's our final answer. So now you get to work on the 6.6b worksheet, so pull that out and go ahead and get going with those. You get to choose though. I mean, it says synthetic division, but if you prefer long division, go ahead and do that. If you like synthetic division, use that. So your preference, your choice.